how I got a software engineering internship offer from Google in my very first year of college, but I decided to say no to it. Early in your career, there are no perfect decisions. There are only decisions you take your own responsibility. So that no that day forced me to find other ways to do well in my career, well in my life. I'm Jaydeep, the founder of Mentro, which is India's oldest and largest mentor community app. I was also a software engineer in the past and worked with companies like Vedantu, Geo, Trell. I was a GSOC student myself twice. Now leaving college in my very first year felt terrifying for some reason. People flexing their offers, posting about how they have joined a new company. As you might have read the title of the video, this is going to be about how I got a software engineering internship offer from Google in my very first year of college, but I decided to say no to it. Well, this was the first ever internship I applied for, and coincidentally just happened to get an offer for the same. Now I come from a tier 3 government college, which is more of a cliche these days, but anyways, like any paid internship in the first year of college is supposed to be a big thing, right? Let aside a Google internship. Well, today I'm not only going to revisit the time when I got this offer, but how I did it, what did I do, and how things worked out. We are also going to talk about how something like this can be replicated in your lives. I will go through the entire application process, what I followed, and what you can do and not do to increase your chances of selection. Also, we'll discuss about how the interview process looks like at a company like Google. How did I prepare, what topics I focused on, and maybe in the process of doing so, you might be able to get some insight and take action on them to achieve the similar results. To set some context, Google has different internship and apprenticeship programs like in different timelines of the year. There are specific software engineering programs that open during the summer and fall seasons respectively. Then there is this internship program specific to second year students, which is called the STEP internship program. There are separate internship openings for software and hardware engineering. Now back in the fall of 2018, when I had just gotten into college, I couldn't get a very good rank in JEE, but fortunately managed a good rank in WBJE, which is West Bengal State Level Entrance Examination. I narrowed down my college options to one being the Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College and the other being the Government College of Engineering and Leather Technology in Salt Lake, which was sort of closer to my home. So I decided to take the second option only so that I could stay close to my family. Some might say it's a wrong decision, and not getting out of home early in the career, but I guess it's what it is, and I really don't have much regrets for that. Anyways, into the first month of my college, I was kind of clueless. We didn't really have any sort of tech or coding culture back then. So there were essentially very few sources to take inspiration from. Well, YouTube became the ultimate source of information for me, which is, I'm sure, the same case for most of you out there. I started learning things like Android development from YouTube. Soon I landed on Google's official YouTube channel. There they had posted a video on their ongoing internship programs. So Google has its own decorated career portal with all kinds of open roles if you have ever seen it. I decided to check it out at that point in time. I saw all these different internship openings listed down there. Now I didn't know about the filters feature back then, based on the country, role, etc. I literally had never applied for any sort of internships. I just read through the openings that were on that page 1. And I remember a bunch of these, fall software engineering openings across different locations like America, Canada, Australia. Right, so let me head over to Google's career portal and check it out how things have changed. Cool, so they have a separate, internships tab altogether. So let's explore some internships here. So as you can see, this is again very similar to what it was back then when I applied. Right, so as you can see, these are bunch of engineering internship programs. Like these roles are probably for students who are doing PhDs. This is a role in Tokyo, Japan. So as you can see, this is probably for both winter and summer seasons. This is a student researcher internship for BS and MS. So let me try to apply to one of these internship programs and walk you through how I had applied. So this is one software engineering internship opening, which is probably only for PhD students, but let's apply and see how things have changed. Right, so you can actually choose a location preference. So for this case, we'll select the Mountain View office. Now they're also asking you for which additional locations are you sort of open to work out. Let's just select a couple of these, nothing fancy. Work authorization, are you legally eligible to work in the country of employment? Yes, we are. Do you currently need or will someday require Google to sponsor work authorization for you? Well, of course, you can select yes in this if you wish for Google to, sponsor your visas and take care of all the, work authorization related documentations in USA and stuff like that. You can select no if you are willing to take care of that by your own self. Now this is something which varies on role to role. It can happen that for this specific role Google wants people to be in the US and they don't want to spend much amount of time and energy of from their side to take care of all these formalities. So yeah, so it absolutely depends on the kind of opening which Google has in their minds. So if you're, I would say, if you're willing to take care of these things, you can actually select no in this case, because it just sort of gives you a better filter. Like you at least won't get rejected for just these things, to be very frank. So let's clicking on, right, so this is some voluntary self-identification form, which is pretty again formal. We'll just go through this. I'll click on next. Cool. So as you can see, it's directly fetching my profile from the last time I had applied. It has already linked my resume. It has gotten all the information from my profile, which I don't need to sort of fill again. And yeah, it's pretty much done. I don't see a cover letter option here, but I remember back then we used to have a cover letter option. So probably if you're applying for the first time, you might as well see it. I would say cover letters are really helpful, especially early on in your careers when you don't have much experience to show for. I clearly remember I had put in a lot of energy and efforts into sort of drafting this cover letter. This being my first ever internship I applied for, and to be honest, I didn't really have much information to show for in my resume. Right, I didn't have any past experiences. Neither did I create some industry level projects or worked with some industry researchers and stuff like that. So yeah, I put most of my energy and time in the cover letter to showcase that I would be a good fit for this role and how much I am interested to work with this organization. Now a thing about cover letter is that cover letter should be very specific to the company, right? So you should mention why you want to work with this particular company. And to write that, probably you'll need to do much research about that company beforehand before you write that cover letter. And yeah, essentially just try to mention your current skill sets, your future vision for yourself, where do you see yourself in the next couple of years, if not the next 10 years or something like that. But yeah, essentially your passion and interest in tech, or whatever kind of role you're applying for, and be very specific to the company's vision as well. So talk about how you like what Google is doing in a particular field. Maybe it can be in the field of AI, it can be in the field of anything else. So just mention very specific things that you can about the company. This just makes them consider your application even more, because it shows that you are really committed to this company, you really want to work with these people, and you have done your research, right? So as simple as that. So going back to the time when I was applying, I remember after filling in all my details, I just clicked on the apply button. This was the internship opening at Google's Mountain View office. I clearly remember. I literally had no expectations, as I didn't even know what the process looks like and what's going to happen next. I was just excited to have applied to something, for the first time in my life ever. A couple of weeks passed. I had forgotten even that I had applied for this internship till I got this email from Google's recruiter. Yeah, so this was the email. I couldn't believe my eyes for a certain time. I thought it was just a promotional email or something like that, but apparently it wasn't. I genuinely thought they might have made a mistake. I even replied to them, I think, as a reply to this. Yeah. So as you can see, I was just checking, is it for real? So yeah, and they even replied back to it saying that they would like to know more about me and schedule the interviews with me. So I went ahead with the interviews. I remember first was a telephonic round where I talked more about my personal projects, my background, what I want to do. They also asked me one puzzle to test my problem solving skills. And yeah, that was mostly it for the first round. Second was a round based completely on data structures and algorithms. I was asked to solve two problems on a Google Doc. So no ID was provided. Forget like all the AI integrated IDs these days. So I was asked to code on a Google Doc. So make sure probably to practice in such a setup if you're applying to a company like, let's say, Google. In the interview, I remember the first problem was an arrays question. The second one was very much related to graphs. Both were sort of easy to medium level, questions if you compare it to lead code questions. The interviewers were very friendly. Now, since the interviews were US timing based, I remember I gave both the rounds in the same night, starting 1 a.m. post midnight. Easily, I didn't sleep the whole night, of course. But that was a great experience, I feel. That too being my first ever sort of internship interview experience. So one thing I learned, from that experience was companies like Google, focus more on the basics and core fundamentals. They don't really care about, what tech stack or programming language you know. They just want to test your problem solving skills, your thinking ability, and how you communicate that. They will also, probably give you certain situations and would like to check how do you navigate them if it's for a senior position or something like that. But yeah, so if you're appearing for a Google interview, I highly suggest, work on these things before scheduling the interviews, because, the last thing you want is probably to mess up the one shot you have at a company like Google. So close to a month passed by. I had again forgotten about all this, but I was again reached out by a recruiter, asking me about my preferences of the team to join in their North America office. Apparently, like Google does this before any new hire joins in and aligns them in a team accordingly. Now, if you remember, like COVID had just come into the picture and the cases were rising, and there was just too much being asked from me, being a first year college student. This wasn't a remote role and I was supposed to fly out to their Mountain View office. Now leaving college in my very first year felt terrifying for some reason. No one probably talks about this part, but I was also scared that I might have just got lucky. Who knows? So after days of overthinking, I decided to reject the offer. Not because I didn't want it, but because I didn't know if I was ready for it. So there were nights where I kept thinking, like, did I just ruin my career before it even started? Like watching LinkedIn posts, people flexing their offers, posting about how they have joined a new company, like people posting about their Amazon joinings, their Google joinings, and I'm just sitting there and thinking, what did I just do, right? But here's the thing, no one tells you. Early in your career, there are no perfect decisions. There are only decisions you take your own responsibility for. So that day forced me to find other ways to do well in my career, well in my life. Sort of forced me to get my hands dirty and to build confidence in some other ways, possible. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're confused, scared, stuck between two choices, just know this. One decision won't define your life, but running away from your decisions, it will. So yeah, that's mostly it for this video, I guess. And I'm looking forward to share more experiences of mine and learnings with you. So yeah, see you in the next one.